Okay, this is very simple. Put again, no one's listening. Anyone that may tune in serendipitously, somehow stumble upon my plight. Let me tell you something. You all remember going to school if you're an American, right? You remember American history, right? You remember reading these stories about World War One, two, all the events before the storm, before the invasion. Well, let me tell you something. What they're doing up here indicates to me, being that I'm a victim, and the vastness and the secretiveness that's occurring, and that there's no oversight whatsoever, and that it's all occurring right under the eyes of, like, the Stasi, like, some sort of secret service, SS, some military secretive police that aren't real. So this is occurring. I'm actually part of history. I'm old. I'm 60 now, right? And you go back in the books and you read the stories of World War I and II. How some of these guys lived, in England on the coast. Some worked at, little small towns somewhere in what do you call it? Lighthouses, greenhouses out in the country, right? Making food for the city. Now, all these people, the initial attack from the Germans, they were sneaking across the channel, right? And they were occupying these little lighthouses and little villages as spies, and then working their way in. This is the very beginning. Some of those people, the lighthouse operator, they were killed. They had no clue. Some had a clue. They became the resistance, right? Eventually went across the channel back over to Europe and fought as resistance fighters against the Nazis. Now, this is occurring up here in a different way. These are criminals. They're acquiring these homes and these places. They're operating within government as though they're government. So whenever something downstream trickles up to the upper, this area says investigate, they investigate and they say not founded, and they go back, it trickles back down to Washington and they just ignore it. Kind of like when you have an MRI, and you have proof it hurts, there's a bump there, there's pain, you can't move, it's clicking. Yet the MRI will say unremarkable, right? The report. This is a computer report that a automated magnetic resonance inductance or magnetic inductance resonance gives off. It's an automated computer printout diagnostic report. The doctor doesn't even look beyond what the computer tells it to, right? If the computer says there's nothing wrong, then there's nothing wrong. If the computer says there's something wrong, they say, well, cut it off. It's cancer, right? I mean, like me with my foot, Fort Hermit, that toe. When I went in, that toe right there was at, it got attacked on 4th of July. And if you check those images, that's almost a month, 6 weeks later. There's no way that's not a rotting toe. That's not a diseased toe. Okay? I took images of it, posted it on Fort Hermit the day it happened. And I did video, a little report with my camera, saying I'm sleeping in the yard. And all of a sudden, boom, my foot starts hurting. I get up, right? And I go and I look and I have this burn on the bottom of my foot. At the time, gee, it was a burn. But it took 3 weeks for all the dead skin that was deep underneath to rot, fester, and then eventually fall out of the body. Okay? In the meantime, they would continue to find my foot because they're very close. And at 300 feet, that's not very far, okay? What's 300 feet, 100 yards? You can hit a bullseye right smack dead center in the little red dot, the size of your thumb. If you're a good shot, that's with a rifle. Now, this is on a flat platform with an XY stage, like a microscope where you move it micron, up. So these guys, they look through their little transit and it's click, click, and they just watch it, click, 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 right? And they're right on, little X. And this ain't like a bullet where it ballistically drops off or the wind affects it. This is a beam of light that shoots true and straight, right? So this guy points this at me while I'm either, at the time, on my front yard, taking a little nap. This is before I knew the intensity of these weapon systems on me. And it got worse and worse as time went on. And as I blocked them, they turned it up. As I blocked it, they turned it up. And they kept turning it up. New equipment, turning it up. Attack, turn it up. Now, this was all supposed to be a coordinated event with my mother, right? Because she was on attack. She had gone into the hospital earlier, and she was fighting her own problem that I was unaware of. But it was supposed to be this coordinated event against my family, because we have my Uncle Mike, my Aunt Catherine, my Aunt Margie, my father, my mother, and my stepmother, and the family attorney, right? Judge Banks out of Mount Kisco, right? Everyone died within like 2 years. Okay? Now, my aunt and my uncle, they died a week apart, which is odd. Okay? My mother, father, and stepmother, they died. First, my mother, 2 weeks later, my father, 3 days later, my stepmother, and a week and a half later, my house burns down, and I escape from the burning house, which they didn't expect because that smoke was so thick that I can't believe I escaped. If I wasn't hiding in the basement like a rat, and I was upstairs sleeping in my sleeping room, and that fire started, I would have died. The amount of smoke upstairs, when I creeped back up after going up and going back down for like a little 5-minute rest to get the dog moving, because the dog couldn't move. It was paralyzed in this stasis electrical field in the basement that was going through your body. So the dog didn't even move. I could barely move, right? So I escaped, right? My dog escaped. That messed their plans up, right? Now that's 2 years ago. 2 years ago. People listening, you scum rat bastards, because I'm still alive. I'm alive. Why don't you come get me tonight, Mr. Bowles? Watching me now. I got proof of this. Going back 12 years, okay? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is a fucking homosexual group. These are debauchery, fucking some sort of insurgent from another country. Does not speak English well, right? Understand American culture well, right? Doesn't communicate well, okay? This group they hang out with, they're all very quiet. They're into, what do they call, introverted. They don't socially interact in the community, except amongst each other. Okay, they move drugs in, they move drugs out. They got little plans going. Right now, I think their plan is to occupy residence homes and then move their people in. You know, small groups, 4 here, 4 there, like those 2 little spots up. You know, right there in the distance above Perknut's house, that could be a home right there. That's another home. Now, I've never met those people, but as far as I know, there's a signal comes from there down. They already could be occupied. No one would know. No one would even investigate. If someone did, one of their own people, right, is the person doing the investigation and says, gee, it's unfounded. Everything's good up here. Da, 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 da. But the one thing that's not unfounded and that is founded. The signals on the power lines, okay? It's right there. It's a communication signal. You can hear it, okay? Maybe it's digital, and you might not be able to capture the exact phrase or words, but the one thing it is, it's a signal being transmitted in a medium, power lines, which is not allowed. They try to hide it as though it's a smart meter signal, right? Well, the signal you detect is the signal used to do billing in the area. That's all it is. Okay, Johnny, thanks a lot. Oh, no problem. I'm going to go back out and work the neighborhood and make sure everything's safe for my people for everybody up here. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks a lot. You're such a great help to the U.S. government. Thank you so much for your service. I can't believe you helped us out so much. Uncle Sam appreciates everything you've done, Johnny. No problem. No problem at all. Hey, we're here to please. You fucking moron.